It's time to pop the top off with Pub Talk. Today, we're finally back after a little break. So we're going to have a little bit more serious talk. We're going to talk about what's going on in college football around the nation right now. We're also going to talk about the whole Baltimore Ravens situation that happened with Pittsburgh. And then we'll get into the NFL recap, of course, and then we have our picks for week number 14. And then Hops of the Week to finish us off. No tasting today. Don't have any beer.
Oh, we got it. But I'm on that damn medicine.
Coach hurt his shoulder again. So, but before we get to all that, Pub Talk is brought to you by Route 11 Chips. Football season is still here. Saturdays and Sundays are all about sitting on the couch, watching football and eating. So you're going to need some chips, and Route 11 has got you covered. Since 1992, Route 11 has been chipping away to give its consumers a great and tasty product. So make sure you check out your local Martin's, Food Lion, and Giant to pick up a bag today. Okay, welcome back, everybody. We're back after a little break. Honestly, last week was a really rough week. I will say that, like, the whole situation with the Steelers-Ravens really kind of set me off, and I was really upset because the NFL still proceeded with a lot of the other games, but the Steelers-Ravens game seemed to be a cash grab for the NFL. But we'll get into that later. We're actually going to talk about college football first off.
Yeah.
Honestly, this has been probably the most stupid season of college football I have seen. In terms of just games getting canceled left and right from these big conferences that wanted to come back after the first weekend of football for college. And now guess what? It's literally turned into the game is not going to happen now. Ohio State and Michigan are not going to play this year due to Michigan having humongous issues going on with COVID complications. Their season's been on hold for a couple weeks now. And Michigan has, honestly, they haven't even won a game yet, have they?
Yeah, they got one. They
have one win.
Or no, two. I think.
But the thing is that this whole season of college football to me has been a joke, honestly, because all I saw it is more as a cash grab than anything, than trying to get people influenced and say, like, hey, college football's on. Because the whole thing that happened in the first weekend, you had the ACC who was like, okay, we don't care. We're doing football.
2-4.
And then you had the SEC who's like, we'll come back in late September. So a couple more weeks. Well, after the first week, and then you had like the Pac-12, the Big Ten, who said, yeah, we're not playing football. We're basically not doing it. And it took them one fucking weekend. It literally took them one weekend to go, I think we need to play football now. And now it has constantly been left and right and left, cancel game after cancel game after cancel game. There's always a cancel game every single weekend in a Power 5 conference right now. Yeah. There just is. Like Coastal Carolina was supposed to play Liberty last weekend, and instead
they pulled off the shocker against BYU.
And that game got canceled because of Liberty having problems with COVID-19, and BYU is like, hey, we're undefeated. Let's play each other. And they said, fuck yeah, let's do it. Yeah. And of course that would never happen in a normal season, but at the same time I go, what the fuck is this season? Yeah. I honestly want to know, because the top 4 teams, of course, are going to be, playing for the national championship, and that'll still be great. But for the rest of these top Power 5 conferences, like the Big Ten, I go, what is supposed to happen? Like, Ohio State is probably going to play 6 games to get into the college football playoff because the Big Ten is just in complete shambles. It's just completely falling apart. Because, like I said, they're not even going to play Michigan. Notre Dame and Clemson have already played each other.
Yeah,
and Notre Dame
play again. They're going to play it again.
And they're going to probably play again.
Yeah.
And then you have the SEC championship game, which is going to be actually kind of good, which is going to be Florida versus Alabama. But at the same time, like I said, what else do you have to show other than the top 4 right now? You don't have anything to show. And the season has honestly just been a complete and utter waste, in my opinion, because you've literally put all this effort and money into this season and you've canceled every game left and right due to COVID. So what the fuck was the point? If you knew that this was going to happen, then what the hell was the point? Oh, I know exactly what it was, and it's money.
Yeah, but they're not making any money. There aren't any fans in the seats or anything like that.
So what? Once again, like what was the
only
whole
thing I
point?
think is TV. The only thing is that you can get. I guess you can get money from TV. I guess that's what you need to do.
By the way, TV is bullshit right now with that whole Channel 9 thing that's going on
Direct
here.
TV. They don't know what the hell they're doing.
You've got to be kidding me that like the consumer is supposed to, be at the rat's ass end of this whole deal with so basically what happened is that Channel 9's having problems with DirecTV and their contract is up. And
CBS.
CBS, and they're trying to get a new contract with them. And guess what? DirecTV's like, hey, eat shit. I don't care. And so basically they're like, all right, well then take us off the air because we're not going to give it to the consumers then. And so the consumers are basically not able to watch Channel 9.
Unless you bitch about it, you don't get anything back for it. They just take it off the air. You continue to pay, but you don't get anything for it. So
and then like I said, that includes on Sunday. So the way DirecTV works is that, of course, you have NFL Sunday Ticket. You get all the games except for the market game, the close market, local market game that is in your area. So whatever team is playing, like let's say it's the Washington football team, if they're on CBS, you can't watch the Washington football team right now because the game is blacked out on NFL Sunday Ticket here in the state of Virginia. And in Maryland, you can't watch them because the channel was blacked out in Sunday Ticket. And Channel 9 is like, nope, we're not showing anything, so fuck you. So, and this is going to be going on until they come to a decision.
Well, your mother called and bitched at him, and we got $20 off. So that worked.
Oh, $20 for one channel.
20, that's better than nothing.
So it's
because if you don't complain, you still get nothing.
Okay, but what I'm saying is it's complete bullshit. And this whole college football season is just bullshit. I really hate it. I have no interest to watch any college football this season because
I'm thinking about Ohio State, and Ohio State is one of the best teams in the country. They just are. They're that good. But right now they're only at 5 games. And the big Michigan, the big game that's supposed to happen every year between Michigan and Ohio State. They're probably going to crush anyway, but still, that is a big game, and that was their 6th game. And they, by I guess the Big Ten Commission, they don't qualify for the freaking college football playoff unless they play 6 games. And right now, they're not playing 6 games. So I guess what happens is you have to decide whether they can play for the Big Ten championship. And if they play for the Big Ten championship, I guess that represents their 6th win.
Who the hell are they going to play?
Yeah.
Who the hell are they going to play? Northwestern for the Big Ten championship?
That's the other side of it. Yeah.
And they're going to slaughter them. I don't give a shit how good Northwestern looks. They will get slaughtered. And what I say, and like you have a team like that who's come out of nowhere, and I go, yeah, but guess what? Wisconsin literally didn't play 4 fucking games in a row because they didn't have quarterbacks to play. And we'll get to that whole thing here right now. I know the last time we had our show, we had JP on, and it was great to have him on. And I was so furious about like the whole situation with the Ravens Steelers game, because that whole Thanksgiving Day was fucking awful for football. Yeah, I mean, honestly. You've got to be kidding me. Stop this. Stop putting the Detroit Lions. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit if it is Thanksgiving tradition. They are awful. They have been one of the most biggest laughingstocks in NFL history since the Super Bowl era. They have not done shit. They literally threw 2 Hall of Fame players to the curb because they didn't want to play for Detroit anymore. And that's Barry Sanders and that's Calvin Johnson. They didn't want to play anymore because they were like, this team fucking sucks and I'm never going to be able to get out of here. So I just retire right now because what am I supposed to do now? So anyway, so what's the tradition? Oh, let's have them on the afternoon Thanksgiving game every single year. Let's do that. And who are we going to put them against this year? Oh, let's put them against the 2-7 Houston Texans. That'll be great. And guess what? It was a slaughter. The Detroit Lions got absolutely destroyed. Houston had a field day with them. And Houston, albeit they're not the best team, but they've had some wins where you're like, what the fuck? Like they beat New England this year. They've beaten Jacksonville twice. I'm not saying that Houston's all bad, but like stop putting Detroit. And then on top of that, the second one, it's always going to be tradition. They're America's team, Dallas Cowboys. I understand that. The second game was awful as well. Washington absolutely slaughtered them as well. Who did we all pick here? Yeah, I was the only one to pick the Washington football team to win. And everyone else picked Dallas. Hell, even Viggs picked 27-7. You picked 24-7. They fucking lost 43-16.
I thought they had a little bit more in them.
They got slaughtered. And I go, you've got to be kidding me that these are the two games that you allowed on Thanksgiving Day. And I get it because of COVID compilations. But this is where the story gets me so upset with this whole Ravens-Steelers thing is that it kept getting pushed back and back and back, all thanks to Baltimore. It kept getting pushed back and back and back. And then of course, James Conner tested positive. You had Stephon Tuitt put on the list. You had Marquise Pouncey put on the list. You had a couple players. The Ravens had 19 fucking players on the COVID-19 list. 19 players. And they kept pushing it back and back and back. Now, I will say, I was very disappointed in Pittsburgh in that Baltimore game. I was very disappointed with the way that, they had all that rest and time to prepare, and they went out and dropped the ball 7 times.
Yeah.
They went out and laid an egg in my mind. And guess what? Trace McSorley came into the game after RG3 became an old man and pulled up on his hamstring, and he was out for the last 10 minutes of the game. And then Trace McSorley came in and threw a 70-yard dime to Marquise Brown, which was awesome to see. That was awesome to see because I've been a big fan of his since he was in high school. But anyway, I got so irritated with this whole situation and even people around the NFL fans were like, "What? So you're telling me that you allowed this game to continuously get postponed?" And then you had the Denver Broncos have a situation where, your quarterbacks, they ain't playing. Oh, so can we postpone? Go fuck yourself. Wait, what do you mean go fuck yourself? I mean, go fuck yourself. You can go find somebody and play a quarterback because we're not postponing the game. But we don't have a quarterback. Revert back to the first thing that I just told you. Because that's all they got. And guess what? They literally had to call up a guy who was a backup quarterback at Wake Forest back in 2018 who never took reps as a quarterback in the NFL. He was a practice squad wide receiver. And guess what? That was the best that they could find on the fly.
He was 1 of 9 for 13 yards or something like that.
He was 1 of 9 for 13 yards. That was the best that they could possibly find. But as I said, they wouldn't push that game back a couple days. But for the Baltimore Ravens, go ahead. We already know Lamar's not going to play, but just keep pushing it back to hopefully he'll play because we need those ratings. And then we had that atrocious game that was that game. It was not a good game at all. But then you had everything that has been rough these past couple of weeks. I keep looking at the NFL and I go, you guys really do not give a shit about the players. You really only care about your money, and you really only care about making sure that everyone's on the field because then you had that Chiefs-Patriots situation where Cam Newton tested positive. Oh, so does that mean that our game's going to get postponed? Oh, no. You guys can fly out the day of the game and play with Brian Hoyer because that's the best we'll do for you. Or you can forfeit. Great. Because, Ravens had a complete and utter outbreak at their facility, Same thing with the Titans. Like, they had a complete outbreak at their facility.
That was at the beginning of the season.
Yeah. In Pittsburgh, like, they don't get a bye week. And they're not the number 1 seed anymore. So they're definitely not getting a bye week into the postseason now. So they're going to go, 18 straight weeks now of football, which is okay in a sense. But it's also like they get no break. None. Zilch. Nada. And I look at those situations and I go, you've got to be kidding me that, like, this is for the safety of the players. Bullshit, it's for the safety of the players. You want your damn money and you want your ratings. On a Wednesday afternoon game, on a Wednesday afternoon when it's noon on the Pacific, what do you – you're not going to get any ratings. People are at work. I hope they're at work. I hope those fuckers out in California are at work on 12 o'clock on a Wednesday afternoon. But, like, what are you going to get out of that? And I just – it made me so mad to see the way the Steelers almost lost that game when RG3 was almost nothing in that game. Honestly, the only thing that he was known for was that freaking pulled hamstring that he had on the sideline, and that was it. It has been a weird couple of weeks for sports, and everybody wants to, And all I see is like Adam Schefter constantly on Twitter posting about like, these are the guys who tested positive today. Get ready. And I'm like, what? Dude, stop farming fucking Twitter likes for this shit. Nobody cares. Like, nobody wants to see that. And then it's honestly like, dude, no matter how much you postpone a game, it's a virus. It doesn't matter what you do. You had Lamar Jackson who said like, I did everything right. Yeah, I'm sure you literally did everything right. You followed protocol to the T. You've done everything. But guess what? It's a fucking virus. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter. It's going to get you or it's not going to get you. It's just like a flu shot. You get a flu shot, you're less likely to get the flu. But guess what? You might get the flu. That's all there is to it. It's just like this. Guess what? You can in Pittsburgh, they had some players test positive, and guess what? They tested negative a couple days later because complications go away. You test positive one day, you test negative the next. It's what happens. All right. Week 14 though of the NFL. No,
week 13.
Week 13.
13.
Because week 14 is who we're picking. Yeah.
Yep.
So week 13. All right, I'm going to go down the spiel. Let's start with last night's game. You get Lamar Jackson back for Baltimore, and you're going up against Dallas. Dallas hasn't played since Thanksgiving because they were supposed to be the Monday night game. I mean, they were supposed to be the Thursday night game. So they were going to play Thursday on Thanksgiving and then Thursday the following week against the Baltimore Ravens. But that game got pushed back because of the Wednesday afternoon game to Tuesday night. Honestly, like, did you think that this game was going to be any different? I mean, I didn't. I thought Baltimore was going to slaughter them regardless. Because if Trace McSorley was in, I know they were going to slaughter them. No, but Dallas and Philadelphia it's honestly they're the bottom two. And then the top two, New York and Washington, they're fucking neck and neck to me. They are. Week in and week out, they keep impressing me. They do.
I'm starting to believe that the Giants are a sleeper. They're going to knock somebody off.
Guys, they're
really going to knock somebody off, and people are going to go, I thought the Giants sucked. And it's just like, I think they're sneaky good.
Guys, it's like the Super Bowl years. It's like they're 9-7. Guess what? They beat an 18-0 team. Okay, they're that team where you're like, oh, they're not that. No, they're scrappy. They're that scrappy team. They just beat Seattle with Colt McCoy.
And when I say beat them, they beat their ass. They were freaking the more physical, more demanding team. And they went right to it.
And we'll get into that game, but I'm talking about like Dallas. their season's been in the shitter. It seems like their whole staff is just like, you know what, this season has gone to hell. We don't have Dak. We don't have a good coaching staff right now because apparently players don't like what's going on in Dallas. They think that McCarthy's a joke. We'll talk about joke because New York is a whole different amount of joke. And then Baltimore to me, they're still overrated in my mind, and they don't scare me one bit. They have a good defense. They do, but offensively, I'm still not terrified of Lamar. I'm just not. I'm glad that you beat a Dallas team who has Andy Dalton. I'm not going to fucking talk about that guy. All right, and then we'll talk about the Monday nights, the Monday games. We'll start with my Steelers. Okay. I was embarrassed. I really was fucking embarrassed watching that game because, well, not because like we lost to Washington, not in the slightest, because Washington, I respect Ron Rivera more than anything. I respect Alex Smith because of everything that he has come back and he's done. And if it wasn't for Dwayne Haskins sucking, and if it wasn't for Kyle Allen getting injured, we would have never have seen Alex Smith come back. And we would have never have seen just how damn good he actually is again in the NFL. Because he has over a 70% completion percentage as a quarterback in the NFL. That's ridiculous. And that's been his whole mantra, his whole career, is that he's not a deep ball guy. He's a short throw kind of guy, and he's very accurate at it. Alex Smith, to me, down 14-0, no panic whatsoever. What I was more embarrassed about is that the Steelers were 11-0 going into this game. You need a win to go into the playoffs. You go up 14-0. You have a chance to put this game away right here and now from the half-yard line. And you can't. You cannot score from 4 plays because the Redskins committed a personal foul penalty that put the ball at the 1-yard line. So it's first down at the half-yard line now. You can't get a half a yard to get into the end zone. And you get stopped on 4th down, and Washington takes over. And I go, you've got to be fucking kidding me that just happened. And on top of that, 7 drop balls again. So in 2 weeks, you have 14 dropped passes from receivers, tight ends, what you name it. Just dropped balls. This isn't like, pass interference type of into traffic. Nope, just wide open, dropped balls. That's embarrassing. That's an 11-0 team.
Yeah.
That's 11-0. And injuries are starting to come about. Joe Hayden's in concussion protocol now. Robert Spillane has a knee injury. Bud Dupree's gone for the fucking year. And you're telling me that it's like you probably know this is better than I do, that you're supposed to, even after you win, that's the best time to look at your mistakes. But the problem to me, Coach, is that when you're constantly winning and never saying to yourself, oh, well, we haven't lost, that irritates the hell out of me when it's happened in the past 2 weeks. Because when you beat Baltimore, you're like, guys, we just dropped the ball 7 times. Yeah, but we won. Who gives a shit? We're 11-0. Stop talking to me. I make millions of dollars, and my whole fucking job every single week is to catch a ball. I literally come into work and I drop the damn ball in an official game, and I get paid millions of dollars every week. I'm the fucking best. That's the biggest pet peeve of mine. When you miss a blocking assignment, you run a mile.
I'll break my foot off in your
John Brown hind parts, and then you will run a mile. I hope Mike Tomlin tells him that. No, but that is the biggest pet peeve of mine, is that your one craft and your one job every single week is just catch the fucking ball. You don't have to worry about what coverages you have. You don't have to worry about, oh, this is the stunt that they're about to run on us. I have to communicate to all my linemen. Your one fucking job is literally get open, put your hands up, pull it right into your fucking arms and tuck and run. But you know what you do? You turn, you have your hands up, and you turn your head as soon as it hits your hands and you drop that ball right then and there when you have a Hall of Fame quarterback who I just hate to have to see every single time they drop the ball do this and stare up into the sky or have to walk up to them and go, you got this. I would say if I was a Hall of Fame quarterback like Brady, because I've seen Brady get heated, I would ream his ass every single time. Stop trying to be a hero and just do your fucking job. Style points don't matter in the NFL. They do not. Because this 11-0 team, like I said, I like Washington, but they're not as strong of a team. If that was
they're
Kansas,
just young.
Yeah.
They're young and experienced, Jeff. They got to win. They got to get Revere, and Revere's got to get more of his guys, his type of player there, and then they'll be dangerous.
If this was against Kansas City, let's say, that game is over at halftime because of all the mistakes that you chose to make in the first half. The game is over at halftime because Kansas City has already scored so many points on a defense that can't fucking hold anybody after so many drives. The defense is great. They put Alex Smith in hell in the first half. But after that, they can't do anything because you guys can't fucking score and can't catch the ball. There's 3 places to the game. And when you can't catch the ball, that is a problem. I'm done talking about the Steelers. That was a sorry-ass loss. That really was. All credit to Washington because, like I said, Alex Smith was on fire, and that defensive line of Washington is starting to come together again and starting to be, dude, run the ball against us because you ain't going nowhere. You just aren't. You know what Mike Tomlin said about Chase Young? He's just like, you got to lose 14 to 15 games to get a guy like you, and I don't ever want to be that guy. I don't ever want to be that coach, and he's not wrong. But anyway, Bills 49ers. You know,
I got 2 words for you. Josh Allen. That's about as good a game as he could play in the NFL.
It's
32 of 40.
It's kind of sad too because San Francisco has
75 yards and 4 touchdowns. He made it look easy.
San Francisco has a good defense, and he just made that look like putty. Can't say the same for like a team like Jared Goff because he struggled against San Francisco. I don't know what it is, but Josh Allen, he looks like he has some games where he's on fire, and then he has games where he's not.
Yeah.
For San Francisco, though, like the thing is that you don't have your starting quarterback, you don't have your you have 13 players on injured reserve. Like that's so shitty. That's awful to see. And when you have that many players, I like Kyle Shanahan because every single week he's like, guys, no one cares if we win. No one's going to pick us to win. These guys beat a Los Angeles Rams team a couple weeks ago that's supposed to go to the playoffs. This is a team that, you know, like I said, aren't supposed to be that good because of all the players that are hurt. And in this game, it kind of did show. It kind of really did show, especially on the offensive side of the ball when Nick Mullins throws 2 picks and then it goes back over to Josh Allen, and Josh Allen looks like a MVP.
Yeah.
Who do you think is the MVP though right now?
In the league?
Yeah.
It's got to be freaking Mahomes. Because if you take Mahomes out of that mixture, you telling me anybody else is going to flip the ball around that field like he does?
What
Are you shitting me? Nobody's going to be able to do that.
What do you think about Rodgers though?
Rodgers?
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers.
No.
You don't think so?
Nah, I'm not in Rodgers' thing. Mahomes is freaking so valuable to the Chiefs. He is what drives their offense. Period. That's what it is. I just think he's in terms of the value to the team and what he represents for their team. Yes, Rodgers is up there, MVP, but Mahomes is clear in my mind, head and shoulders above Rodgers as an MVP candidate. He's just too valuable to them.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and start with the normal games. I'll start off quickly with like the Saints-Falcons game just because, you know, this is going to be a tough test for Taysom Hill coming down the stretch now that Breeze is no longer, you know, he's not going to be able to play. I don't believe
I thought he was clear to return.
Is he?
I think so. I think he's clear to return.
Okay, because here's the thing. I don't want to say he's a bad quarterback, but I don't believe that the Saints can win a Super Bowl if he is their quarterback. Because not only in the 3 games, he's won all 3 games, but he's played against Atlanta twice. Atlanta, like this is considered one of the worst defenses in NFL history, and a Denver Broncos team that didn't have a quarterback. So not only was he having struggles against a good Denver defense,
he's eligible to play against Philadelphia this week. I just looked it up.
Okay, well, then I might think that this Saints team has a real shot to win the Super Bowl because their defense, like New Orleans defense, is really fucking good. Like it's really good. I won't say much about Atlanta, but Atlanta, to me, if they could just have a little bit more of a defense, I think that this team would be really good. Because Atlanta's offense, what was it, John Gruden? The Raiders a couple weeks ago went into Atlanta and dropped a donut. Like they just got absolutely hammered by Atlanta. And John Gruden said, this is the best 3-7 team I think I've ever seen. And it's like, well, he's wrong, but he's also not wrong because offensively, Atlanta, they have weapons everywhere. I mean, it's not even close. But if the Saints can get Drew Brees back, I think that 100% they could easily win a Super Bowl. Now, the problem is Peyton actually going to let it happen, though?
Yeah, well, I think when they interviewed him, he's basically got to go, look, this is going to come from the doctors first, the player and the doctor. He's not – Sean Payton can't make that decision. It's going to come down to Drew Brees and the doctors.
I'm not talking about that. What? I'm saying, like, if he actually really is cleared to play, you think Sean Payton is actually going to, like, say, no, Taysom, like, Drew is coming back in?
No, I don't think that at all. I think he's going to let Drew Brees make the decision. He is going to let Brees. If Brees says he can go, then Taysom Hill's going to take a back seat. Freaking Drew Brees is your guy.
I know, but Sean Payton has like a love romantic relationship with Taysom Hill.
Yeah, I know. Well, I think he's looking to the future and what he might have with this young kid. But yeah, I don't know. I think it comes down to Brees saying, "Hey, if I think I'm ready to play, I want to give it a shot." Or, "Hey, look, let's give it one more week, and then we'll let Taysom play, get some more reps." Because you never know when it comes again. I mean, he freaking 37 cracked ribs or whatever it was. You know what I mean? Not 37 ribs, but I'm just saying.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about them. Your Bears are awful.
It took you how long to figure that out?
I mean, you guys, for as much shit as I talked about Detroit,
yeah,
you guys lost to that team.
Yeah, they're really struggling. I don't, when I look at them and I look at their issues, golly, this freaking quarterback position looked like a glaring problem. But when you look at the way the game was played, Trubisky doesn't play that badly,
David Montgomery is a star in my eyes for you guys.
Yeah.
And I hate the fact that he has that offensive line.
Yeah.
Because David Montgomery, when he gets into the open field,
he's just so flashes of such a dynamic running back. And yet, he's play after play. And who's that?
His name's Thomas John. Is it? I can't. It's Thomas John is what it says.
All right, what does it say?
It says, sorry, joined late, but in time to listen about our Bears. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think Montgomery's such a...
Oh, it's Tom.
Oh, Tom Byer.
Yeah.
What does it say, Thomas John? Oh, that's his freaking first and last name, or first and middle name.
Okay, how am I supposed to know that?
Yeah,
okay.
Well, I think the Bears are, especially Montgomery, he's such a special because he's so young and he has so much to offer, and yet the offensive line cannot generate any kind of movement. He had 70 couple yards rushing this week, and
holy shit!
And he had a couple of touchdowns, and you can see when he makes a play, he's got this fire. Give me the damn ball, let me do the good kind of thing, and then you 1 yard gain, and then it's just like it just becomes like this nauseous situation where he's ground in, like you ground him up. And I worry about a back like that who can offer so much to you, but then he gets ground up because his offensive line can't block for him.
I think that 100%. Your offensive line is a part of the problem, but I also think that you need a coaching change. Well, I'm completely fallen off from Matt Nagy because right now he just seems to not fucking care.
I don't know if it's not that. I don't know. I doubt that it's not. I doubt that it's an issue of him not caring. I think he's just kind of, look, this is who I have and this is what I have to work with. And, it's terrible, but this is what I have to work with. And you know what, as well as I do, some of these coaches that come from these teams that were very successful at one time and they strike out on their own aren't exactly the answer. They're just not the answer. And it's okay. Just like any other coach, when you're not successful, you just freaking, you fold up your tent and you get somebody else. Somebody else will lead the Bears. You don't know the next guy coming. He could be just the same way. It's been that way for how long? It's been that way for 3 decades, since the 80s.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I just have never had that problem because I've only gone through, in my time as a Steelers fan, 2 head coaches.
Yeah.
I've literally gone through Bill Cowher and Mike Tomlin since I've been a fan.
Yeah.
And both in the entire Steelers time since the Super Bowl era, there have been since 1969, there have been 3 head coaches total.
Right.
And that was Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, Mike Tomlin.
Yeah. So that tells you something about the organization. I can think of probably 5 coaches in the Bears, 6 coaches in the Bears over that time.
Mike Ditka.
Well, going back to the 80s and Ditka, yeah. I mean, there's been plenty of guys that have had no success there. And I don't know what it's going to take. Are you telling me just a better quarterback is going to change all that?
I don't know. I find it really funny that, you guys had that really good season in 2018. You guys had that really good season. Everyone's like, man, Mitch Trubisky ain't too bad, actually. He's actually kind of good. And then he fell off in 2019 and everyone's like, hold on a sec. I think we're starting to realize that Trubisky still actually isn't that good. And guess who you guys played last year? You guys played the Chiefs, and you got to see Patrick Mahomes. And guess who you're going to play this year? You're going to play the Texans, and you're going to see Deshaun Watson. And I hope they fucking score 50 on you. And Matt Nagy.
Well, I don't want him to score 50.
I know. But I want the defense to go like, motherfucker, we could have had this guy. Why did we get this guy? It is still not, I don't care what you say. It still will never get out of my mind, Coach, that you guys drafted a guy.
Okay. It happens.
Had one season.
It happens all the time.
You're right.
It happens all the time.
Yep. I mean, Raiders with Jamarcus Russell.
Yeah. The Browns with freaking Johnny Manziel. There's been plenty of guys like that. Ryan Leaf going back years with the freaking with the Chargers.
He's a whole different breed. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of things have happened like that. It just
Ryan Leaf had a game where he didn't even complete a pass. he just didn't even fucking complete a pass.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what's going to take for them. They show flashes at times where the Bears look very good. They look good defensively. They look good on offense. They do great things. But the overriding thing, and this is how it has to be in the NFL anyway, is you have to be consistent. You have to consistently be able to put points on the board. And Trubisky didn't do that bad of a job this week. I mean, he didn't turn the ball over. He was 26 of 34. Right around 270 yards and a touchdown. What more do you want out of him? If he's supposed to be that efficient, what more do you need out of him?
I want you to beat a team that doesn't have a head coach anymore.
I get all that.
They lost their head coach after Thanksgiving.
I get that. Is it coaching? I don't know. It could be. You get a young dynamic coach in there. It'll change. It could change everything.
By the way, did we call that at the beginning of the year though?
What?
That Patricia might get fired like during the season.
I'm trying to Patricia. I don't remember, but it didn't surprise me at all that they canned Patricia.
Been so damn inconsistent this year.
Inconsistent, and it'll kill you every time. But the mystery of it all is Adam Gase. How you can be 0-12 and they fire the DC before they fire you. I don't get all that at all.
All right, so next game was the game that we just couldn't watch unless it was on Red Zone. Was the Browns-Titans game?
Yeah. This is another example.
Tennessee they make me mad, man. One week to the next, they'll destroy a team and then they'll just go.
Well, it was 38-7 at the half. The complete lack of a start to begin with, to allow a team that's led by Baker Mayfield, albeit who's gotten a lot better over the last couple of weeks. They're a team that's 9-3, and you can say what you want about the teams that they played, but they're still 9-3.
It's okay because everyone talks about Pittsburgh, so it's okay.
Right, they're still 9-3. They beat teams that they were supposed to beat, and they lost to 3 teams that, well, maybe they could have, but didn't beat. And the same thing goes for Tennessee. If they start slow, they're in trouble. They're in trouble. You cannot start slow like that. You can't have Derrick Henry sitting and languishing because he's like this tool for you, this powerful tool, and you can't even you rush him 15 times for 60 yards. That's all you get out of him because you got to throw the ball all around the park. Freaking Tannehill has to throw the ball 45 times, 50 times a game because you fall behind. Because when you fall behind, you can't run the ball consistently.
With that cat,
because they're not built like that. Tennessee's not built like that. And they were down 38-7 at the half, and then they make a game of it in the second half.
Well, now the AFC South
held Cleveland to 3 points in the second half.
Well, now the AFC South is back up for grabs because Indy won and Tennessee lost. So now they're back at the same record, and they both have a win against each other in their tiebreaker. Right. So it literally comes down to record now, and it's still up for grabs. So who the hell knows what's going to happen? Next one, the benches clearing game, Dolphins-Bengals. Yo, Brian Flores don't play around, playa. Brian Flores will go and die for his team. But anyway, they play the Chiefs this weekend, and that is going to be a game where we're going to see if the Dolphins are that scrappy team that can play against the big boys because they haven't played, that many high up teams other than maybe Arizona, Los Angeles, Seattle. So the NFC West, that's about it, though. So they beat the Bengals. I'm not surprised that they beat the Bengals. They don't have Joe Burrow. They don't have anybody. Their offensive line still sucks. Their quarterback got killed in this game. So the Bengals are just a joke at this point. And if the Bengals front office doesn't realize that, hey, I think we need to go for offensive linemen in this draft, then it's going to be a complete waste of a season next year because there clearly is a problem. You have a star in Joe Burrow. But I'm glad that you got him and didn't get anybody else to protect the man.
Yeah.
Because right now, the Bengals, that's their biggest weakness. All right. A couple quick games. Vikings beat the Jaguars. Mike Glennon almost pulled it off, man. Mike Glennon still looking all bald and shit. Almost pulled it off. But Vikings won in overtime. The Jaguars had to come back, and they had to get a 2-point conversion at the end, which was great. But they still lost at the end. Colts-Texans. Texans were driving at the end of the game, and Deshaun Watson fumbled the ball.
Yeah.
Just to end the game.
Turnovers kill you every time.
And he was so pissed at himself. I remember that. And I'm like, that's how hard he takes it on himself to be that leader and be that commander of the Texans. So, but the Colts prevail. And then I have to talk about it. I have to talk about the Raiders-Jets game. I'm not going to talk about the whole fucking game, but the Jets were supposed to win this game. They literally were supposed to win this game. What was it? 30 seconds? Here, I can pull it up right here. So play-by-play, last drive, they have – so, yeah – first and 10, 35 seconds left on the clock. There's 35 seconds left on the clock. And basically what the Jets held the Raiders. They held them turnover on downs. It's 28-24. So now what do you have to do? You have to run the ball. You have to waste some clock and basically make them lose the game. And what happens? They have to punt. They give it back to Derek Carr. There's 35 seconds on the clock. There's no timeouts left for Las Vegas. And they're down by 4. So they need a touchdown to win the game. They can't settle for a field goal. So what happens? First down, get a 15-yard gain. Okay. But the clock's still running. 19 seconds left on the clock after he spikes the ball. 2nd and 10, incomplete pass. Next play.
Send the house.
The New York Jets called a cover 0, which is basically a man-to-man blitz. There's no safety help. There's no nothing. It's man-to-man linebackers blitz, and maybe a safety blitz is with them as well. They sent the fucking house after Derek Carr. And what happened? Who came undone? Henry Ruggs came undone and blew past the corner and was wide open in the end zone.
Yeah, he made it look easy.
And the Raiders won.
Yeah.
On the second to last play of the game.
Doug Williams got fired. Or is it
Greg Williams got fired.
Greg Williams. Doug Williams, quarterback with the Skins.
The
Washington football team. Sorry.
I can't believe that happened. I cannot believe that has to be a joke. Like, there's no way a smart defensive coordinator does that. There's just no way.
He's been around the league for as long as he has.
Like, was he getting a call up from management in his headset saying, like, you must lose this game right here and now? We need Trevor Lawrence. Even though we just drafted a quarterback in the first round 2 years ago. Yeah. We need another quarterback. This is literally turning into the Cleveland Browns again. But you've got to be kidding me that is the call that was made on the field. And the defense didn't say to themselves, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, part of me says you sell out. Maybe you get to them. Maybe you throw it up. But
it's a high risk.
Yeah, why wouldn't you have somebody why wouldn't you have somebody standing on the goal line saying, "Hey, don't let this ball go over your head"?
It's a high risk for the Jets, high reward play for the Raiders if that goes the way.
I get it. Yeah, I get it.
Holy shit.
I'm just trying to get in freaking Greg Williams' head. Hell, I don't know what he was thinking. I'd had 3 guys standing on the goal line saying, don't let him throw this ball this far.
Now,
don't make a play on it.
Now the Jets are 0-12 right now.
And Adam Gase still has a job.
And these are their last 4 games right here.
Yeah,
these are their last 4 fucking games.
Yep.
They're going to play the Seahawks next week in Seattle. L right there. They're going to play the Rams in Los Angeles. L right there. So, by the way, those 2 games, the Rams and Seahawks are both 13.5-point favorites right then and there. Then they're going to play the Browns, and then they're going to play New England for the last game of the season. They literally could go 0-16 100%.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And I
it's have definitely possible. Definitely possible.
I can't believe that this is happening. This is you had your one shot right then and there to not go winless, and you fucking blew it. The Raiders were done and dusted. They were like, dude, we just lost to the winless Jets. And then and then Derek Carr threw his helmet off and he's screaming down the sideline that we just won. Oh,
it happens. That kind of stuff happens. But, it happens.
I don't fucking believe you that it happened. That can't be real that a defensive coordinator called that. That can't.
My very first year of varsity coaching, we were in the second game of the season, and it was the one chance we had to get a win. And we called a trap play, and we didn't run the trap play. We ran a different play instead. And we got stopped, and we never got a chance to score. And I think we lost the game to a team that went 1-9 that year. I think we lost 7-0.
Yeah, well, guess what, Coach? That was a high school game, and this is literally just the only chance you have left. We didn't win a game,
though. We didn't win a game the rest of the year because we played juggernauts after that. We played everybody from the Harrisburg area, and they were just better than us. They were just better. We weren't going to win those games. And we went my very first season as coach, we were 0-10. We lost our last game 72-0, dude.
Who knows what's going to happen in the Seahawks game? They might lose fucking 72-0. The Jets might. All right, on to the Rams and Cardinals. The Cardinals are the biggest frauds in the NFL right now to me. They have so many inconsistencies that against great teams right now, you can't rely on a Hail Mary to bail you out against these good teams, because that was lucky against Buffalo.
I don't know what's going on with them. And don't give me the college offense and this and it's.
No, I don't give a shit about
it's Murray. It's these things. It's just something about them. They're just missing. And I can't quite put my finger on what it is that they're missing. I just don't get it with them because they have so much potential. I think they ran into a really, really good freaking 8-4 Rams team. I think that's what they ran into. Kyler Murray threw 3 touchdowns. I mean, he did.
The Rams, to me, though, don't scare me, though, because I think that Jared Goff is the weak part of that team, though. I think that Jared Goff is very suspect, especially against good defenses.
Maybe.
I go back to that Patriots Super Bowl that he had where he was basically like just nowhere.
I know the Rams are really tough to beat when you give them extra plays. And in this game, I think they run close to 80 plays in the game.
Yeah.
80 plays. You run 75 or more plays, and your chances of winning increase exponentially just because you have more opportunities. And when you look at the offense of the Cardinals, they had about 230 yards of offense. That's all they had. So you're not going to beat teams if you're not chewing up bigger chunks of yardage. You're just not going to beat them. I don't give a shit if Murray threw three touchdowns. It's just not enough when you turn around and give the ball back to another team and allow them to score. That's just how it is. All right, so you score 28, but they have so many opportunities to score that they score 38. So, and that's how you lose. So I can't put my finger on that.
I just think that the Cardinals, they'll need another year, but right now they have that inconsistent about them. Next one, I think no one saw this coming. The Giants beat the Seahawks 17-12 with Colt McCoy. Alfred Morris had 2 rushing touchdowns. Alfred Morris. Holy shit, that's a name from 2013, but or 2012. It's one or the other. But Alfred Morris, holy shit. This Giants team scares me a little bit.
Yeah, I said it before. They're sneaky good.
Because if Daniel Jones,
I think a lot of it has to do with their coach. I think Joe Judge has them passionate. I think he's got them fired up. I think you got a few guys that are believing that, hey, we're not a bad football team. It doesn't matter who's leading us. Colt McCoy, he didn't set the world on fire. He had less than 200 yards passing and a touchdown. Big deal, But he had 105 yards passing. I just saw the stat. He was 13-22 for 105 yards and a touchdown.
If Daniel Jones doesn't make mistakes, this Giants team is actually very good. They are. They have weapons at every single position. They have Evan Ingram, Darius Slayton, Sterling Shepard, Golden Tate, Wayne Gallman, and they have players. Like, they have players on this team. And then their defense is actually one of the top defenses in the NFL right now. So this Giants team kind of scares me. On the other side, though, Seattle, to me, they're very shaky, honestly. And especially when it comes to Russell Wilson against these top-tier defenses. I mean, honestly, when it comes to them against a good defense, they struggle. They struggle mighty heavily because they know that the Seahawks run game is like non-existent.
Yeah, that's not much.
They
had over 100 yards this week, but it's not dynamic. It's just not.
But I'm not scared of Seattle anymore like I was at the beginning of the year. I thought that Seattle at the beginning of the year, I was like, damn, this is a really good team. And then I went back and I'm like, well, these are the teams that they played at the beginning of the year. Like they destroyed an Atlanta team. They played a Patriots team that still wasn't really together. They were, and then they beat like a Philadelphia team. They beat, it didn't seem like that good of a team at this point now. So, but the Giants, to me, they scare the hell out of me, actually. Okay, I'll just talk about the Patriots-Chargers game. It was an awful game. Patriots 45-0 beat the Los Angeles Chargers. It's actually kind of funny because on Thursday Night Football,
completely dominated them.
They're going to play the Rams.
Yeah.
they're actually staying in LA right now because they played the Chargers on Sunday. They're going to play the Rams on Thursday. So they're still in LA, but completely dominated them. This Patriots team is honestly hilarious because Cam Newton threw the ball 19 times for 80 yards.
Yeah, he did.
They don't pass this ball at all. And they're winning. They're 6-6 right now. They could still fucking make the playoffs. And if the Patriots make the playoffs, I'm going to be so mad because I don't want the Patriots to be in the playoffs because they always fucking win. But for the Chargers, dude, for the love of God, this has been a season to forget. You have Tyrod Taylor go down with a collapsed lung by your own team doctor. You send in Justin Herbert. He looks fantastic. And then you realize, I didn't get a team around him. I didn't expect him to be this good. So I don't know what the hell to do now. All right. Now for the big one. Eagles Packers. Carson Wentz is benched. Jalen Hurts is going to start against the Saints. Jalen Hurts came in this game. He wasn't the best, I will say, but he looked comfortable and he looked very in control of the game. That's one of the things that I kept saying about Carson Wentz this entire year is that he just looked like he was just demoralized out there and also just looked like he was scared and not doing the basics right. And that's something that you don't want to see out of a quarterback that you paid $110 million. You gave him one of the biggest extensions in the past couple of years, and now he has $110 million guaranteed. That's a lot of fucking money that you gave this man, and he is having a nightmare of a season. And I'm glad Doug Peterson said, Carson, sit the fuck down right now. I need to get something going. And for a moment, it looked like the Eagles had a shot. It looked like the Eagles were actually going to pull it off, but of course they didn't because they're the Eagles right now. Now, the Packers, to me, they look like the best NFC team. The Packers, to me, I think could beat the Saints. They've already proven that this year. They've beaten the Saints this year because Aaron Rodgers, I think is the MVP. I know you said Mahomes is. I just feel that Rodgers has had a better season besides that Tampa Bay game where he had that hiccup, where he had a really bad game against Tampa Bay. But yeah, I think that the Packers are the best NFC team. I think that it will be a Packers Saints championship game. And I think we will see the Packers go to the Super. I think they could go to the Super Bowl because Aaron Rodgers is very healthy. He has a lot of weapons around him, and Aaron Jones is his best attribute to have with him. And Devontae Adams is just fucking ridiculous. All right, last game of the weekend. Chiefs Broncos, a lot closer than you thought it would be because of the slaughtering that happened before, where the Chiefs, I think, won 43-16. I think it was when they last played. I thought it was funny because there was a clip of the Chiefs not knowing that they had actually scored a touchdown and they punted the ball away. The review showed that the replay showed that they actually scored a touchdown, but instead they punted the ball away. And Andy Reid's like on the sideline, like, what? What do you mean we just scored? And it showed Tyreek Hill actually catching the ball. But besides that, I don't want to talk much about this game because I expect the Chiefs to win at this point. I expect them to fucking win. And it was good to see at least Denver have a soul because of the whole situation that happened the week before with every single one of their quarterbacks getting ineligible due to COVID. But I won't talk much because I expect the Chiefs to win. I expect them to win. And they still didn't look weak. They still didn't look weak at all. Anything you got to say?
About what?
You just haven't talked in a minute.
No, you said it all. I mean, I don't know what else more I have to say about them. That they have their opportunities. They look mortal at times. I still don't understand why nobody freaking finds a way to cover Kelsey. And they continue to do what they're supposed to do. And whether they do it in convincing fashion or just get by, they still win. So, I mean, and in order to dethrone the king, you you have to prove it. You have to knock him down and you have to knock him out. And so far that hasn't happened. They just look like they're having fun playing football. That's what they look like.
Yeah. All right, let's do the picks. You have a couple of them?
I got a couple.
Did you put Patriots Rams on there? I think it's going to be a good game.
I did not, but I can. Patriots at Rams?
Yes. I think it's going to be a great game. You have Chiefs Dolphins?
No.
Chiefs Dolphins is another one. That's going to be that's going to be one that has to be talked about because it's going to be interesting. All right. What other games do you have?
I had Colts Raiders.
Colts Raiders?
Yeah.
What makes you think about that game?
Because I think it's critical that they continue to win. Both teams have to win.
Okay.
They're going to be in the inside looking out.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. What do you got?
For who?
To pick.
Colts Raiders. I'm still going to go with Indy. I think that Las Vegas is very inconsistent. I'd say like 31-21 Colts.
I'm gonna go with the Raiders because they have to find a way to win.
Okay.
But I think it's gonna be a close one. I'm gonna go 28-24 Raiders. I got Steelers Bills. This is vital to playoff position.
I know. I just don't trust them after that game. I just fucking don't. I'm going with the Bills. I just am.
All right.
I'm thinking it's going to be 30-24 Bills.
And I'm going to Bills Pittsburgh too, but I'm going to go with a little less. I'm going to go 28-17. Just simply because I think the Bills are, after this past week, they're firing, man. They're firing
I know.
All cylinders.
And they're good enough.
They're good enough to limit Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I got Ravens and Browns. You're going to find out who's a pretender here for sure.
Yeah. Okay. I think that Baltimore is going to beat them, though.
All right.
I'm going to say 41-27 Ravens.
41-27. I'm going to go Browns. They're hot. But I'm going to make it a really close game, 28-27, 1-pointer. Really close. Patriots, Rams.
I'm going 24-21 Pats. I think it's going to be a close game.
24-21.
But in those tough games, the Patriots have been a good team.
I'm going to go Rams. They look really good.
It's got to be a close game, though.
I'm going to say 28-20.
Okay.
28-21. Rams. And then Chiefs and Dolphins.
It says that Kansas City is a 7-point favorite, but this is in Miami. There's actually going to be a big crowd there for Miami. And, I think that the Dolphins can do it. I really do feel like they can do it. I'm going to say – I'm going to say 34-27 Dolphins.
Wow.
I'm going to say it. It's not
34-27?
Yeah. It's not that I want Kansas City to lose. I just think that Miami can do it.
I don't think that Tua Tagovailoa is ready for the Chiefs. So I'm going to take the Chiefs in a blowout, 28-7. Okay. I just think that they're a much better team.
Yeah. I completely.
I'm thinking it's a blowout. I don't think Tua's ready for a big game like this. I just don't. He hasn't shown me enough to say that he's ready to mix it up with the best quarterback in the NFL. Period. I just don't see it. But stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened, man. So that's our scores. Colts Raiders. CJ takes Indy. I'll take the Raiders. Steelers Bills. We're both taking the Bills. Ravens Browns. We're going to find out who's a pretender and who's not. CJ got the Ravens. Coach takes the Browns. And I don't want to be the Browns, but I will just because of what they've done, especially what they did to Tennessee. Patriots Rams, which is very intriguing. CJ takes the Pats. I still don't think the Patriots are there yet. They're getting better. When they get their team back next year, they're going to be pretty fucking dangerous. When they get a lot of their players back, they're going to get 8 starters back next year.
Who?
Patriots.
Yeah.
And then Chiefs, Dolphins. CJ picks the Dolphins. I think they can be scary. I think that they're playing way, way, way better than what they started the season as. I believe in Brian Flores. I think that what they're doing is fantastic. But what Andy Reid has going on in Kansas City is nothing short of lining up for a second Super Bowl win back to back. They got a lot to do because nobody covers fucking Kelsey. Nobody covers him.
You're right. Yeah,
I don't know why. I don't know why somebody does.
That's all.
I don't know why that people. It's like
Chiefs
the game plan. It's like the game plan.
Matchups.
It's like the game plan to stop Gronkowski, where teams would go, "Hey, let's just put our linebacker on him and take our chances." And then every time they would see him lined up on a linebacker, they'd freaking foam at the mouth and then throw a touchdown to him. So it's the same thing. Hey, they're playing zone. Kelsey, find the open hole. Okay.
Okay.
So,
well, let's do hops.
Yeah.
Let's get out of here.
Okay. You want to go first?
Yeah.
All right.
Mine has to do with esports, actually.
Esports.
Yeah. Like professional video game playing. How much do you think that players actually make from a salary?
I think I was looking somewhere where some of those guys are 6-figure guys. Some of them, some of the really good players are on average anywhere from probably 75 to 80 grand a year up to 300 or so grand a year.
I wanted to talk about that.
Depending on how many tournaments they get to and what kind of team competitions and the scale of the team competitions. I think that
in the organization,
plus their sponsors and stuff. I think some of them do pretty well.
Yeah, I was looking at some esports salaries and people they'll make $5K a month or $6K a month. That's a lot of money.
For couple $1,000s to play video games all day.
Yeah, and I just find it kind of I don't know, infuriating whenever I hear players they're being lazy and not playing the game that they're supposed to play.
Right.
But there's this esports scene that I follow, and one of the teams that was in the scene, they backed out of the scene because of COVID. A lot of money is getting put into the scene and their players because they basically bought a team house, so they're getting their house paid for, basically, the players, and they're getting $6K a month per person.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me in the least.
And you're losing a lot of money now because of COVID. And I was just they're not just regular sports are losing money, but esports are hemorrhaging right now.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you right now, I know for older people, it's not probably for them, but dude, these events that go on out there in the world when there's not COVID out and about, it's insane how much people congregate to these things.
Right.
Sure,
yeah.
We may be fucking nerds, but nerds rule the world. And I'm telling you, the amount of I've gotten probably just as hyped watching some of those events as I have watching sporting events.
Yeah, I enjoy watching them too. I like the smack talk that takes place. And
you're talking about with Call of Duty, yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's what I play, so I enjoy watching them.
Yeah.
And they smack talk and they get after each other.
Those guys are that's a whole different level of fucking smack talk with how those guys talk to each other. But yeah, there's a lot of money that goes into esports, and not a lot of people talk about it, but it's a big industry out there. And I thought that people should know that not even just regular sports are hemorrhaging, even and this is all around the world too. It's in Europe, it's in North America, it's in South America, it's all over the world. So yeah, that was my hops for the week.
All right. Yeah, I think the one thing that salvages them though is that it would be really nice to have attendance, but at the same time you can tune in like you could anywhere else.
Yeah, you still get viewership.
And teams can be isolated, and it's just like pay-per-view. You can watch it on pay-per-view and they can get away with it.
They just I know that it's a lot better to see the teams there together,
right,
facing off against each other.
That's where the smack talk comes across the best.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so my hops has to do with football, high school football, And there was a 4-part miniseries on or docu-series on HBO called The Cost of Winning. And essentially what it does is it takes place in Baltimore at St. Francis High School, which is a Catholic school in the heart of Baltimore, in probably one of the most unsavory neighborhoods that you could possibly imagine. And that it's one of the oldest schools in the country, and it goes all the way back to pre-Civil War, in which it was one of the very first schools to teach black kids at the time. And this guy has come there. His name is Biff Poggi, and Biff Poggi has come to St. Francis, and he's come with a lot of money. He's a self-made multi-millionaire in I forget what kind of financial program he was into, but he created this massive empire and he made a lot of money. And he brought his money to St. Francis after being at the historically really, really good other Catholic school or private school in the Baltimore area called Gilman. And so what has happened is he has built a juggernaut of a team. And it's because he has recruited the best athletes. And most of those athletes, and I'm not going to lie, most of them are predominantly black. And what has happened is the schools around them don't want to play because they say that they're at a competitive disadvantage because they can't compete with what Poggi is doing with his money and his recruiting. And while the show kind of hedges its bet on a little bit of race, the fact is that he's bringing in athletes that other schools could probably bring in as well if they could offer something like he's doing. But what's the difference is that they want to compete on a national scale, not so much in the cozy,
regional
the cozy Maryland Catholic School League, which is probably pretty competitive and has had several kids, come out of that area that are probably playing in Power 5 schools. And then after that, they're probably playing on Sunday in the NFL. There's no doubt that kids have come out of that area that are playing, but they're not playing on a level like St. Francis. And so Coach Poggi has taken his money and he is flying his team around the nation. Like they start in Florida and they end up in California and they play some of the best teams in the country week in and week out, because that's the only way that they can measure themselves, because they're trying to play for that mythical high school national championship. And for the most part, they dominate the shit out of everybody. They just do. They played Don Bosco, I think, which was the number one ranked team in the country, and they dominated them. Don Bosco dominated St. Francis in that game. But, they went there and they played anyway. They went there and played the game. But it's really, really good. The big thing is that the part of the production of the show grabbed the attention of Michael Strahan, and Michael Strahan has become like an executive producer for it. And if you ever get a chance to watch it, it's a little 4-part docu-series. The biggest problem is that the episodes are too short. They're only 30 minutes long. So there's a whole lot of storylines and a whole lot of back stuff that they don't have time to get into, which could have made the series even better. It's like a high school Last Chance U kind of thing, only without all the cussing and the stomping and the storming and stuff like you'd seen in the Last Chance U. Yeah. And the thing also is that these kids are getting an opportunity to play at the next level. And it's not all Power 5. Yes, they're sending guys to Michigan. Their running back from this team went to Michigan, who played David Corum, I think it is, or Michael Corum, is a running back at Michigan. And then there was a young guy who played D-end, and he is going to freaking Alabama. He's a 5-star recruit going to Alabama. So they had a number of guys.
They take down there.
They had a number of kids go to big-time schools, but then there were a lot of kids who went to prep schools and to JUCOs and to other Division II, Division III schools. So whatever Poggi's doing down there seems to be a success. And while I think you can't argue money and players, that definitely has a thing. But I think people should check it out. It's actually a pretty good series. It's over too fast because, like I said, it's only a 4-part series, and each part is 30 minutes long only. So, but it's really good to check out. I think you should check it out.
Okay.
But that's my hops of the week.
All right. Well, Tom, thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, Tom, thank you for coming by, buddy.
But it is we're gonna go ahead and head out. It's been a good show. This will be out tomorrow, though. Don't worry. That way you could hear the beginning of the show. Because, like I said, we talked about the whole Ravens situation and then Ravens Steelers situation and this whole stupid college football season that's going on. But until next time, guys, peace out. Love you.
See ya.